Hey everybody, welcome to a Tatter-a-fact here at the Girlz Ink studio in Las Vegas. And we're a little crazy today because I got the Girlz Ink Girlz here. Well, two of them, Amy and Ren. Yes. This is the last podcast of 2023. So keeping with tradition, our last podcast needs to be the artists, us artists. Yeah. So, and we're just missing Sophia. She had a client. She couldn't be here. So it's all right. It's us three, but we miss her. We miss you, Sophia. Okay. So yay. So I thought we have lots of different things we could talk about, bounce around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What do you want to start with, Ren? Do you want to start with how the industry has changed in the last couple of years? How, you know it. So how long you've been doing PMU for 5 years?
Since 2018.
2018. And Amy, you're 3 years in now.
Yeah.
So as you see it, your experience, Ren, I mean, I'm sure I have my own perspective. You know, I've been in the industry longer. I've seen lots of changes over the last years. Lots and lots and lots and lots. And so you haven't seen as many changes at 5 years in. So what stands out to you that you've seen change in the last couple of years?
I feel like probably one of the bigger things that I have seen is that people are really starting to move to machine for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've also seen some trends come and go. Some that I'm not really too in favor for, and some that I think could be pretty cool.
So what trends are you not in favor of?
I'm not in favor of the cheek blushing.
Yeah. So why? Is it because you worry? Is it just you don't like how it looks, or are you worried about how it ages?
It looks gorgeous when it first come out.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's not something that's really a proven concept yet until you see how it looks 5 or 10 years down the line.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's trending too fast.
I've seen blushes 5, 6, 7, 8 years down the line. Oh my gosh. Okay. So yes, because, you know, I'm pushing 21 years.
Mm-hmm.
So when I started, they were way back then, the ladies that were raising me, they were 10, 15, 20 years older than me. I was a baby in the industry. That generation, so all through the 80s and the 90s, they were doing blush, eyeshadow. They were doing that. It was really, really, really popular, and it was standard to do it. Everybody was doing it here in the United States anyway. And then I came into PMU in like 1999, 2000, I got licensed. I think it was September of 2000 is when I got my license. So I actually started training in 2019. No, I'm sorry. 1999.
Yeah.
That sounds crazy to say 1999. Isn't there a song by Prince like 1999?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, that's when I started my apprenticeship for permanent makeup. And then I got licensed in 2000. So anyway, when I entered in 2000, I started going to the SPCP conferences and watching lectures. And there were lectures on how to do the blush, the eyeshadow. Yeah. So it was, but by that point, enough of the artists from that era had seen it age not good.
Okay.
And so there was some still doing it, promoting, and then there was some that did not like it didn't promote it anymore, didn't like how it aged. So, and my mentor from way back then was one of them that saw bad aging with the blush and the eyeshadow and kind of drilled it in my head. You know, don't do it. Just, you know, don't do those two procedures. Some things shouldn't be replicated, you know,
right.
Tattoo wise, like some procedures, some things should stay topical.
So when you were at the conferences and you saw those, what kind of liners or shaders were they using?
Well, keep in mind back then, everybody was using, mostly 3 and 5 liners. Right? Okay. Those were the two most popular needles in the industry.
I can imagine.
back then. 3 round liners, 5 round liners. I never even heard of another liner, another type of needle until I got into my body tattoo apprenticeship.
Right.
That's all I was taught was a 3 liner and a 5 liner. Singles really weren't popular. And of course, shaders were not, mags were not in PMU, not at that time. So yeah, the needle, and keep in mind, most of the industry in the United States, I'm not sure about other countries, but I would say 80% of the industry, if not more, during the 90s and maybe my first 10 years were using the digital machines that cost 20 grand. Yeah, needles were $25 a pop. They were using all these digital machines that, didn't have a lot of power, and they were really, promoted to our industry for women. And I'm just really grateful that I never really got hooked on one. I got into body tattooing early enough, close to when I was starting PMU, that I got on regular body tattoo machines and needles. And so I didn't get stuck in a box, but yeah, but I'm wondering, what do you think? So I'm wondering if now, if the other side of that argument, because we saw bad blush maybe 2 weeks ago, we got an email on it, and it was awful. This client, it's all healed in, and it is absolutely hideous. It was so bad. It was so disturbing. And she's not in the state, so she was looking who we could refer for removal. She came across our site that we do removal. And but on the other side of that argument, I'm wondering, because there are people doing blush now. So if they were in on this conversation, because I do like having conversations with people that I might disagree with, because sometimes hearing their side or why they disagree, it opens my mind up to, I didn't think about that. Right. Okay, you got a point. It might not change my mind, but at least now I develop empathy and I understand why they feel like that. So if one of the new artists, modern artists of today that did blush was sitting here, she might say to you, or me, okay, that was the 90s and the 2000s. We're 2023. We're much more skilled. We're it's much more talent driven, and we've learned a lot. We've evolved the techniques, the skills, it's all evolved. So we're putting it in different, we're using different needles. So it's not, you can't compare that. So, and that conversation might take place. Right. So how do you feel about that?
It's still personally not my cup of tea.
Not your cup of tea. And that's okay. But you're not like a hater. You're not one of these people. Like if you saw someone doing blush, like on a Facebook page, you wouldn't go in behind them and drill them a new asshole because they do blush. You're not one of those.
No.
Yeah, no. Me neither.
No, people are going to do what they're going to do, and their clientele is going to go for them if they like that.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's within me and what I would like to do and what I would like to see 5 years down the line for myself.
Yeah. I think for me, I never did blush. Like I said, early on in my career, my mentor just kind of steered me away from it. And I always kind of kept that guidance.
Right.
But if I were to do it, because there's always a better way to do something and a not so great way to do something, right? So if I were to do it, obviously you have to use lip pigments, right? I would definitely use an inorganic, like Li's Aqualine. An inorganic that's matte and muted, and it's going to fade. It's going to leave. It's going to fade the skin, right? That would be a smart, strategic way to do it if you're going to do blush.
Right.
Rather than using an organic that's brighter, and that shit ain't going away. Yeah.
It would take a long time for that to go
away. You might have to talk up a little bit.
It would have to be a long time for that pigment to go away.
Yeah.
If they used anything other than an inorganic.
Yeah, it would take a really long time. Yeah, really long time. What do you think, Amy? Amy, are you here?
Yes.
Hi, Amy.
I have literally never seen this blush thing. So now I'm going to have to go home and
seen it, so now you're going to go.
I have no idea. Personally, I don't think that I would be a fan of it, like getting it or wanting to do it, because
Well, it's a swish. You take a brush, you dab it, and swish.
Yeah, I'm like, that's just crazy.
It's like done in a nanosecond.
Like I'm curious on how they like map it and where they figure out where that's gonna go, right?
Yeah.
Because some girls wear blush differently, just like eyebrows or eyeliner.
Well, how would you map? Well,
Yeah.
that's an interesting
So are you
point.
gonna like? We're gonna.
You'd probably
put
outline
here?
it. You'd probably draw it on.
I mean, I'm really curious now, so I'm totally gonna look it up.
Well, that's a really good question. So maybe you would like draw it on with like a brow pencil, or like I use markers for eyeliner design. So maybe like a marker, you'd outline it.
Yeah.
And
But I mean, when I put blush on, I'm like blending it in, and doing some contour. So I'm just mind boggled.
you do all that. You blend and contour, and it's gonna be.
Well, yeah, or else it's just too pink.
Yeah,
I'm literally this dab, wish, dab, whoosh. That's me. wherever the powder may fall.
Yeah.
That's
right.
But mine's like super muted. It's not like a pink or a rose. It's almost like a mauvey brown. It just gives me like a little, gives my my cheeks a little, little oomph, little little meow. Yeah. Yeah. Eyeshadow is kind of the same thing. It's same thing. It's a different area, of course, but it's kind of in that same category of controversial procedures.
Mm-hmm.
And these controversial procedures, boy, it really stirs up a ruckus, doesn't it, in our industry? Like those that do it are so defensive of it and stand behind it. But I get why, because some that are against it are so out there against it and really come at them, come after them. And, and so, so you have that in the industry where, that causes interesting conversations, I'll tell you.
Mm-hmm. I will say, last year, about 3 months before I officially packed all my stuff, came down here to Girlz Ink, I actually had a consult with somebody who had a purple cut crease tattooed on her, and she needed to get it to remove. And she was like super cute.
What's a purple cut crease? What's that?
So a cut crease is, it's kind of more of a modern type of eyeshadow where you'll do your makeup kind of like how I am with mine, except mine is a little bit more blurred, but you have kind of like a set color in the front and you cut it to where the crease of your eye is,
I know.
right?
Okay, yeah.
But she didn't have any color underneath it, so it was just her regular eyelid, and then she had this like bright purple.
Like line. So it wasn't blended and whipped.
You can tell it was whip shading. It was single needle. I have no idea, but what they did towards the bottom, if they ended up switching it up, but she had a wing that came out at about right here towards the tail of her eyebrow.
Wow.
And I looked at that and I had no idea what even to do with it. I was so uncomfortable even touching that part of the skin, because that was even before I did eyeliner. Yeah. Right. And so I just have never had any experience on that type of skin. And I just went and referred her over to somebody I knew who does laser in town. And I said, maybe they can pull that pigment for you, but I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And I mean, she was a really young girl too. And so it was a trend.
It was a trend.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about that, man. I've never really been into trends. I kind of stay with more the fundamentals, the things that I know that are going to heal well and age well. I'm about, I don't know. I'm just about the aging process. Really, I really, really, really consider that and look at that, how is it going to age? I think one trend that, because I'm I'm not like dead set against cheat. I guess if they're using an inorganic and it will leave, and they're tattooing it like more superficial and it will leave the skin in a year or two, then I don't know. I don't know enough about it, I guess, to form an opinion if it's done that way. Right. My opinion on cheek blush is based more on how it was done, more old school. With or using inorganics that don't leave, because our face falls. You can end up with blush down on your chin, on the sides of so it has to be done like super smart. So I'm open to learning more about it, and does it fade and things like that. Eyeshadow, I'm not really sure about that either. I've never really done it. All I've seen is really bad blue, bright green, horribly done eyeshadow. I haven't seen pretty eyeshadow that fades pretty. I just haven't seen it or enough of it to really form an opinion, like a hard stand on it. So I just don't do it. But what I do stand kind of hard on is the white eyeliner, that strip of white that they put above the eyeliner.
I was just about to ask you about that.
No, I have a hard line on that, and like I said, I'm kind of, look, whatever you want to do as an artist, do. But with that said, there's consequences when you're tattooing things that you don't fully understand, right? Yeah. And so I fully understand that white strip. It's all titanium. And I have tried to tattoo over or remove hundreds of them in my 20-year career. So I've seen not just 10, not just 20, hundreds in my 20-year career. And every client that I've dealt with that has that white strip, it's no longer white, it's changed color, and that client hates it.
And it's spread.
And it spreads. That client hates it. And what I learned the hard way is, you think like in body tattooing, black covers all. That's kind of our philosophy. Black covers all. Well, black does not cover that titanium well at all. Sometimes it will heal like a light gray or titanium's a bitch, man. The tattoo over. So we do, lift is the best approach, I think, now, trying everything to remove that white. Like, I don't even try to tattoo over it anymore. And I'm a packer. I can pack in black. And it's extremely challenging and difficult and not successful a lot of the time. So, and then when the black fades, you're just stuck with that it's just not right. It just doesn't look right anyway. It doesn't really look right. And I guess it depends on too, is it a tiny sliver of a little strip? Or is it like a thicker, like I've seen it all. I've seen some thick strip. Yeah. Right. And so that's something that I think should be left to topical makeup. It just doesn't translate well into tattooed makeup. So yeah, you've dealt with those white strips, haven't you, Amy?
Yeah, a lot of eyeliner that wants, like old eyeliner where they want me to rework it, or we've had that white in there, we just avoid the white area.
Yeah, you just avoid it.
Yeah, and then they end up with eyeliner. I mean, that they wanted something different in their head, but they don't understand that we can't go over that.
We can't cover up the white.
And it's not even white at that point. Like I've seen it, it's like kind of like a yellowy
color. It absolutely changes color.
Yeah.
Even like a high quality, it changes color. It's not white anymore. It becomes yellowy or like sometimes even pinky yellowy. It just changes color, and it gets.
I've seen it where it's almost looks like like a almost white stripe and then like a yellow stripe in there too. Yeah. Which is really scary when you're trying to do an eyeliner with that stuff above it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, I just and I get asked for it every now and then, and I haven't been asked for it in a long time. But people used to ask me. I'm like, no, don't do that. I don't do that at all. It doesn't age well, and you really shouldn't let anybody else do that to you. It's not gonna look good at all.
It does look pretty topical. Sometimes it helps to open the eye, but tattoo wise.
Oh, I 100% agree with that. Yeah, topically, I've seen it look really cool.
Yeah,
but and like I said, it can look good, new, if done super skillfully by a PMU artist, but it's the aging.
Right.
It doesn't age well. And like I said, almost every single client that I've dealt with that has the white, they ended up not liking it and wishing they didn't have it. So I don't want to put, why put something on somebody that could put them in that position somewhere down the road? That's why I stopped doing wings on young girls.
Yeah.
I mean, 20 years ago, I was doing wings on everybody.
Right.
They could be 20. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah. I mean, I had fun doing wings. And then someone that I did a wing on, she came in at like 30, like 10 years later. And she wanted the wings removed. And she's like, yeah, I wish I'd never done them. And I'm like, wow. It's like, yeah, at some point, I mean, they're going to grow into maybe a mom or my tastes certainly change. I mean,
for sure.
I dress way better now than I did 20 years ago, but our tastes change.
Yeah,
do you know?
Sure.
Our hairstyle, we change our hairstyles. We move around our living room furniture,
right?
We change. Yeah. So why wouldn't our style and makeup change? And as a young PMU artist, I never considered that. To be very honest, I just never considered that.
Right.
And probably about 10 years into my career, I started considering that. Like, are you going to want this in 10 years? Because some things last, especially if you're doing carbon, or using, organic. So, yeah, I think that's our responsibility and our job.
Oh, absolutely.
To not just think about how it's going to look, fresh, new, but how is it going to look 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and ask questions.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. Just like with eyeliner. Everybody wants a wing. Most people can't have it.
Most people can't have it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, let's pick on Ren a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. So, where are you with your eyeliner work, Ren?
Yeah.
I
had a very long year.
You didn't know I was going to ask you that.
I saw it coming. I just didn't know it was going to be today. Yeah.
No, you don't suck at eyeliner. Well, I don't know. Yeah. It's been a minute since you've done one.
So if anybody wants to be my fourth model, I need to get back on eyeliner.
No, you did have a tough year. You were doing, just so people know, you were doing full-time at NEMA, which is like medical esthetician, aesthetic school, which is intense, and being here. And you wanted to, and you do like killer brows. Your brows are killer. You know that. You killer brows. And you want to learn eyeliner, and you started learning eyeliner, but I think it was too much, maybe, with everything else going on.
Yeah. I think it was just more, maybe I'll be more like explorative once I took my state board and, life kind of just plateaued a little bit.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, state board's over.
Down,
State board's over.
Yeah.
I am licensed.
You are licensed. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So you've done like 3 or 4 eyeliners.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel about them? Do you like them? Are you going to pursue it? Is it something you like, or do you want to switch to lips? So I don't want to switch. I want to do both. Definitely. I definitely want to get into lips next year also. Okay. I think the first time I ever did eyeliner, I was just looking over at Teryn like, why are you putting me through this? This is terrible. Well, I think you thought it was going to be easy. Because you do a good brow. I did think that it was going to be a little bit easier than I picked on you a little bit for that. But because a really, really, really good eyeliner artist makes it look very easy. I was just thinking like, I know how to shovel. I know how to put some circles. I could think I can pack that. And you whip shade really good. Do you want to tell everybody who my first model was? Who was your first model? Your wife's sister. Oh, yeah. No pressure. Jackie. Well, no pressure. Well, I helped you through it. I stepped in and did some. Yeah. Yeah, but you did okay. You did okay. Amy you rock out eyeliner. I think you're better. I think that's your best procedure, your strongest procedure.
I would agree. I struggle with brows sometimes, especially like if they want them round in the front. That's really hard for me. I hate round eyebrows in the front. I struggle with that too. The mature ladies, yes, they want round. Yeah, they want round. They don't want these squared off ombre, Instagram, looking or youthful looking brows. They want round. Yeah, and we have to do it, even though we don't really want to love it, but it does look good on them. It does. It's up to us to make sure that even if it's not something we agree with, we kind of make it with our own touch. Yes, and we make sure that it still looks good. Yeah, it's not even about agreeing. I mean, try putting an Instagram brow on a 75-year-old lady. It looks ridiculous. Yep. Mm-hmm. It just doesn't. It's just not right. Yeah. It doesn't look right on them. Like that super structured brow just doesn't. Super fine tip. Yeah, it doesn't look right on them. They do look better. They look prettier and more attractive and much more suited in a brow that is a little bit thinner, typically rounder bulb. Yeah. They like a rounder arch. Yes. Yeah. Every now and then you'll get a hot little wild 70-year-old or, that wants something a little fun. But no, typically that's what they want. And that's where mapping doesn't,
That's why I encourage learning how to freehand browse outside of mapping.
Yeah, thank God you forced me to do that in the beginning. For everyone that doesn't know, I wasn't allowed to use any measuring tools.
No, but that's on purpose.
Yes.
Yeah, that's on purpose. So you develop your eye, you develop your freehand skills, and you can draw a brow freehand on any face. Yeah. And then you go to, then I let you guys go to, tools. String and tools and rulers, because I'm not against them. Yeah. But I think if you start out on those,
it'd probably make it harder.
You get it harder. It's like if you go to a tattoo shop.
Right.
I mean, they want to make sure you got to bring your portfolio. They'll sit down and say, hey, sketch me a rose, sketch me this, sketch me that. Yeah. They want to make sure you can sketch.
Right.
And and that you're not 100% reliant on just stencil designs.
Yep.
And I kind of have that philosophy. I'm a little old school that way.
Right.
So, well, thank you.
Yeah. So I've struggled with brows. I mean, because a lot of women want that rounder front. If they want them squared, I mean, I can usually do okay. But with eyeliner, it's a little bit more crispy. But I will say, and I think this is a good idea for you, Ren, so I apologize because you may not like this because I hated it. But I was forced to do 2 eyeliners back to back. And all the information was like fresh in my head of like what I was doing wrong, what I was doing right. So when I jumped into that next one, I remembered everything. And I think that's what made me like really take off, is that I did 2. Yeah. Every time I had a model, I did 2 a day. Until I got up to 10.
Yeah. I actually really like that idea.
Yeah. No, it's a perfect way to learn because you get, because when you're learning eyeliner, if you let 3-4 weeks go by, it's like you're back to square one.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, and you're nervous again. You never get there.
Yeah.
So those were long days for you, Amy, too. I remember.
Yeah. But you have to be, and it forces you to be like better with like your timing and stuff too. Cause you're like, oh man, I have someone afterwards. So
yeah.
Teryn,
didn't you say your first model ever in permanent makeup was like brows and eyeliner and lips or something?
Brows and eyeliner.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, brows and eyeliner.
Same day.
Same day. Same day. It took me like 8 hours. Yeah.
Oh my God. She's all healing.
Yeah.
In the middle of it.
Yeah, we were in a dental. I mean, where I did my apprenticeship here. My apprenticeship was like a joke here, like in Vegas. My PMU apprenticeship, my body tattoo apprenticeship was a little over 18 months, and that was awesome, right? But PMU, no, I would meet her like once a week at a dental office, and at night when the dentist closed. And that's where we did our procedures. Yeah, but they're about 3 months into it, man. I was like, man, once a week ain't cutting it. I'm like, not getting this shit. I need more. Yeah. Yeah. And her and I got in kind of a big old fight. And I'm like, I'm not paying my balance. I can't. I'm not learning anything one day a week. Yeah. And so then she let me start coming in on Saturdays and just watching her work, which was helpful. But yeah, and I graduated that apprenticeship, and I had to go right down to California and do another apprenticeship in PMU. And then a year later, I did an 8-day, like 8 days in a row down in California with somebody else because, I mean, the training is just terrible. So that's a good segue. Let's segue into training. So training now in PMU, and I just kind of put a post about it on Facebook a couple of days ago, and it got like a lot of comments. And I think me and Texas... we've Texas De La Rosa, him and I have talked a lot about this with a lot of people. That I was out to dinner with an artist, and they had kind of enlightened me and told me that a lot of PMU people right now in our industry are picking trainers or coaches solely because they're driving Range Rovers, wearing Rolexes, diamonds, like, showboating their material possessions. Right. And I thought, I'm like, no. I mean, where am I? Under a rock? I'm like, am I that naive? But I guess I was that naive. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm like, you're serious? And she's like, yeah, it's an epidemic right now, Teryn. That's how they're picking. They're picking their trainers, PMU trainers, because they're flashy.
But are these students like young girls that do this mostly?
Well, I'm not really sure. But my whole thing was, okay, so you're picking So they're not researching like their portfolios and make sure they're super skilled. They support their clients and they're good trainers and have good reputations in the industry. They're picking their trainers because, you know,
they got stacks of money.
They flash stacks of money. And also the lure of, well, you can make 6 figures a year. Right. Look at me. I drive a Range Rover or a, you know, Mercedes and blah, 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 blah. This could be you. And I, you know, that just kind of floored me a little bit. My whole thing is like, yeah, I wonder how many of those, you know,
how big that payment is.
Those people out there, is the vehicle leased? Are they paying their taxes? They got money in their bank. I mean, sometimes it's all just showboating.
Oh, absolutely.
And the thing is like, I feel like they completely fail to mention to people that are very impressionable about the money they make. They also forget the fact that they're selling pigments or they're selling some kind of product that they've made.
Yeah.
They're doing ridiculous classes that are up to 30 people. And so they're making thousands at each course. I mean, like they're steering away from being an actual artist and they're on kind of more of just the entrepreneurial side. And so in that sense, I mean, that's not, you know, I'm not taking clients every single day to make 6 figures. I feel like they're misleading a little bit, really.
Yeah, well, a lot of it's misleading. And I'm not saying, you know, just that there is not some really good trainers that are through and through good trainers.
Yeah.
That, you know, maybe show their material possessions that they work really hard for. And there's nothing wrong with, you know, showcasing, you know, that part of your life. If you want to, I have no problem with that. What stuck to me is that students are picking trainers based solely on that. And and so to come down, do you point the finger at the person on Instagram, the trainer doing that, or is it the student? It's both. I mean, who picks a trainer? This is your career and this is your money. So who picks a trainer just because they're driving around in a flashy car? Are you kidding me? I mean, to me, that's asinine.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really understand that. For me, you know, I don't know. I just see a lot of people now out there building their careers off people, right? Building their training platforms off people, building their coaching platforms off people. That's how they're making their money. They're getting rich as coaches, right? Off luring in students rather than they built financial success from the PMU industry. They're building financial success off just luring in coaching students.
Right.
My philosophy is, look, I have no intention to build a successful training platform or coaching platform off people.
Right.
I have every intention to use my coaching and training platform to build successful people. That's the difference. Right. That's the huge difference. So, but I have noticed a trend that, like, because, you know, the training space exploded with 2-day classes and, you know, and we don't have to go on about the training space. But a lot of them moved into coaching. Have you noticed that? Now the coaching space is jam packed and so it's interesting watching all this. But I think those out there spending their money and, you know, and learning PMU, you know, it falls on them too. I mean, they bear responsibility, you know, on picking people of substance that, you know, have been in the industry a long time and do great work and are great trainers. Yeah. What do you think is the future of training, Ren? Because I know training, like you're an advocate for training.
I don't know. I have some feelings about this. I feel like training, because there have been a lot more conversation lately of people, whether satisfied or dissatisfied.
And a lot of dissatisfaction has been popping up about the type of training that's dominating the industry and has dominated the industry the last few years, right? Yeah. There's a lot of discontentment popping up.
Yeah.
Right.
I personally feel like that is actually going to bring a lot more positive in 2024. And I feel like a lot of the stuff that people feel like they've wasted their money or that they didn't learn even like the basic color theory or depth, or they didn't get enough one-on-one time with their trainer. I feel like even that I've been through those kind of courses too. I think because that's happened so much to so many people that now we all kind of came together and spoke about it. I think 2024 is really going to turn around, or at least be the first year where, you know, whether it's a slow progress or it really hits ahead on it, but I think it'll be better, honestly.
Yeah.
I think people are going to understand what to look for better. I think people are starting to use their voice. I know you like to say, you know, always use your voice, even if it shakes.
Yep.
I think people are going to be, you know, not going to feel bad anymore about how they felt. And, you know, this is because at the end of the day, this is our life. This is our time and our investment. And if you really want to be in the industry, you know, you have so many questions. And so I think that will definitely be better next year. And I think that people may not want to do 1 or 2 day courses anymore. Unless they're like a really experienced artist and they just want to see somebody else's technique. You know?
Exactly. There needs to be more long-term apprenticeships. I mean, I know some people are doing like 7-day classes, and that meets like the SPCP standards. You know, there's some sort, you know, SPCP work, you know, to try to put some sort of standard out there. I think it's a certain hour, so many hours. I can't remember, but I mean, think about it. That's not even long enough. Look what body tattooers. I mean, they're spending, you know, a year to 2 years. So, I mean, we do a 12-month apprenticeship program here.
Yeah.
Do you know? And it's all of us. I mean, you help out Ren and you sit down with them. Amy, you help the apprentices. You work with them. They go in your rooms, my rooms, and it takes a village to raise a PMU artist. So, and it does take 12 months. It takes 12 months.
Yeah.
It takes 12 months.
There's so much information.
So much information.
With all the different procedures. So
yeah. And a lot of the people joining our apprenticeship program have already done these 7-day apprenticeship programs, or, you know, these classes elsewhere. A lot of them relocated from other states to come out here and do the 12 months. Mm-hmm. You know, they're in here 4 days a week, and it's good. It's good. I think it's good. I think it takes a village. That's how it's done in body tattooing. Mm-hmm. You know, when you go into a tattoo shop, it's not, you know, just the shop owner that you spend time with. It's all the artists. It's the collective. Yeah. It's the whole studio, you know, tattoo studio that works with the new apprentice. Yeah. And
I think it's good for the apprentices too to see how we all work and do things so differently, and even just the way we talk or explain things. Or like even the vibe with some of them, like they might vibe with somebody a little bit better, so they feel more comfortable asking questions or coming to that person. Right. Because I know, like, when I started, I mean, I learned so much from all 3 of you, and you guys all did things so differently, but there's been certain things that have stuck with me that you did, that Amber did, that Michonne did, that were all different, or like just, you know, sayings that you guys would say, or like the way you would do things that really would stick with me, where I didn't even notice the other person really did it so much. Right. So I think that is beneficial for them too, to be around us, and not only that, to be with each other, because when you're in an apprenticeship, it's hard, like emotionally and mentally, because you question, like, am I good? Can I do this? Is all this like gonna pay off? So it's almost like a mental like thing that you go through. But when you have somebody going through the same thing, because like your partner doesn't know what you're going through because they don't tattoo, and you know, you're changing someone's face. But when you have apprentices that you can kind of lean on and vent to, then they can kind of hype you back up and get you back up where you need to be. Or if you're getting a little cocky, they can be like, "Whoa, girl, calm down. Like, it wasn't that good."
Yeah, right. Because we've seen it all, right? We see it all with apprentices. Absolutely. We got like, I don't know, 5 or 6 of them right now, and they've all been together like, you know, quite a few months. Yeah, so you get it all. And some of them, I think, take, you know, better advantage, and some don't. I mean, you know, it's not like super structured. I run it like a body tattoo apprenticeship. Eddie didn't make us be there. at a certain time. And it was like sitting down at a desk and at a certain time you take it wasn't like that.
Right.
And you really can't do that for a 12-month program. So it's kind of structured, kind of loose. And look, if, take advantage of it. Yeah. And they'll get from it what they put into it and what they want from it. I think just like artists, I've had artists come into the studio that were obsessed. Mm-hmm. Amber was one of them, one of the most obsessed people I've ever seen in my life.
Right.
And
she's still obsessed.
Yeah, she's a little cuckoo. But I love you, Amber. She knows I love her. She knows she'd be the first one to cuckoo. Are you kidding me? No, but she was just demanding of my time and booking model. And she knew what she wanted from me, from this, and in her career. She knew. And there was clarity, and I've had a couple other people like that over the years. And then you have people that come in and they're like, they're hardly here and blah, 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 blah. So you get from training, you get from artists that are better than you, what you put into it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm not micromanaging anybody. That's my whole big thing. We're all adults. I don't want to micromanage anybody. Either I can't want for you what you don't want for yourself.
Yep.
Either you want it and you get it. You come get it. You get it. You make it happen because you're in a great space to make that happen, or you don't. And that's just it's pretty black and white for me.
Right.
I've always been someone that made it happen.
Mm-hmm.
I made it happen. I always surrounded myself with people that were better and smarter than me. Yeah. Because I wanted to sponge off them.
Absolutely.
I want to absorb like what they know and their talent. I want to aspire to be like them, Right. So, but some people are just not like that, All right. So let's segue into working as a solo artist compared to a team of artists. It's a good little segue. We were just talking about that. Amy, you've known no different.
Yeah.
You walked right into a community of artists here at Girlz Ink, and this is where you've been. Can you imagine working on your own, being alone?
Absolutely not. No, there's no way. I mean, I'm going to be 100% honest. Before I commit to like a color and a game plan, I literally would like skip over to Michonne's room and be like, hey, what do you think about blah, blah, blah? Like I would make her come into my room just to like say yes or no or do this or do that. I love being able to do that.
Yeah.
Like it makes me feel more confident. Like I always try to kind of second guess myself. So when I ask somebody, and then it's kind of, I get jazzed when I say what I think. And then when it matches up with like, oh, I would do this. I'm like, yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah. Michonne used to do that with me.
Yeah.
And then it got to a point, I would say about the 3-year mark.
Mm-hmm.
She would come and ask me, should I use like a 5-shader of this? And I'm like, what do you think you should use? And I'd make her answer her own questions. Or should I use this color and this color? What do you think you should use? What are you leaning towards? Mm-hmm. And so I stopped answering her per se.
Right.
And because I want to know where she was in her thought process. Like, how are you how close are you to the right answer in your thought process? And then she would answer me. And I'm like, you just answered your own question.
Right.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And she's really good with color theory. So I did like to pick her brain.
Yeah.
Which she usually used loaded, the loaded line. So it was very different. But I did like to know her game plan.
Yeah.
So that was cool. And I mean, and I learned a lot from that because you can only read so much and watch so much on a laptop, but having like the hands-on training, that's where I thrive. Like, I need to like do it. I need to see it. I need to feel
all the real live clients coming in and we're looking at their face. Like we had one today.
Yeah.
You had one today. Super pink.
Yeah. And she healed so ashy.
She healed ashy. Yeah, but she was super pink and she pulled gray, but she knew it. She was like, yeah, I know. I always pull gray.
Yeah.
She pulled gray with her eyeliner. And I mean, you can just look at her. you know.
Man,
and
her lips look good, huh?
Her lip looked good. Her lip looks so good. You nailed those lips. You nailed those lips.
And it was a correction.
And that
for
was
those that don't know, it was a mess. So.
Yeah. Oh no, it was purple blotches throughout this lip.
Oh yeah.
But you walked your game plan towards me. We came up with a game plan together.
Yeah.
Kind of walked through it, talked out loud with her right there.
Yeah.
Talked out loud.
Yeah.
And but I do that with my clients, even if I'm in a room all by myself.
I do too.
With my client, I think out loud and I say my plan out loud to them.
And people always say like, oh, if they've had previous work, they're like, my artist didn't tell me anything. They didn't explain anything. But like when I was a client before I did permanent makeup, I remember coming in and I was like, are you doing circles? Like, what are you using? Like, I didn't ask a lot of questions, but then once I learned all the stuff, I'm like, I honestly can't believe I went and got permanent makeup, basically blindfold. Like, I didn't know what I was getting myself into. Like, thank God.
Good thing you picked
me.
Thank
God I came to you. I couldn't even imagine because that was a long time ago. But I mean, I like to educate my clients just so they know what they're getting themselves into and they have like realistic expectations for the outcome.
Exactly.
They know the risk and
no, that's good. It's good to be a really good communicator with your client and tell them what you're using, why you're not doing this, why you're doing that. When I'm on the skin and I'm working, if they start bleeding a lot or if I'm experiencing like an area not taking color, I'm like, ooh, this area ain't taking color. I say, okay, I'm doing that. And I just talk out loud with what I'm experiencing as I'm doing the procedure. And I've had several clients tell me that they like that. Yeah. It calms them. They like that.
And they don't know what you're doing.
No, they don't know what you're doing.
So if you kind of tell them a little bit, then
you can tell them one thing and you're doing 100%. So Ren, you're 5 years in, and for 4 years, today it's your birthday. You've been here 1 year today, or interviewed you.
Today was my interview a year ago today.
Yeah, well, happy interview day.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was a goofy laugh. Okay. Shut up, Olivia. I said, oh, go ahead and snort laugh. Olivia just snort laughed. I hope that was caught on your mic. You make fun of me and Olivia over there snort laughs. Okay, that was great. It's priceless. I hope you all caught that. And no denoising that snort laugh, Willow, if it was caught on the mic. Olivia's beat red. Olivia's pregnant, by the way.
I know.
Yeah, we haven't announced it yet. Yeah, I keep
you just did.
No, I just did. Well, I might as well with the three of us. Olivia, the captain in the Tatter-a-fact console technical chair is prego. Bun in the oven. Yes. She's pregnant. We're so happy. It's about the size of an onion, you told me a couple weeks ago.
That's crazy.
I know. Crazy, right? Yeah. That didn't help you snort laugh, though. I wonder if your kid's going to snort laugh. Probably.
Most likely.
All right. Back to business. Okay, Ren. So you came from solo artist 4 years.
Yeah.
Into the Girlz Ink Studio, all of us artists. Was it a hard transition? What was it like? Do you prefer having a bunch of artists around you? Did you prefer solo artists? It's okay for you to be honest.
So, when I came into the industry, I was 18 years old. Mm-hmm. And there was what I thought was really only one way of doing it. And what I mean by that is, like, especially in the actual tattooing part, I only knew whipping and pendulum before I moved here.
Yeah.
I only knew how to use a 1, a 3, and a 5. I never did any circles unless I was doing lift.
Right.
And so when I ended up moving here, there was just something. I remember I got an email from you and Kat asking, saying, hey, we really like your work. We'd like for you to come in and chat. And then like the end of the message said, would you like to come in tomorrow? And I'm literally getting out of the shower and I'm running around the house. I was like, I just got an email from Girlz Ink. Oh my God. I was really excited, and and of course, this isn't just me kissing your ass, but I really do think just being here since January 7th, because that was the first day I really started working out of here, I've incorporated so many movements and so many needles, and I've understood color so much better than I usually did with my previous clients before. And so now, like, in this year, I really feel like I'm more of like a really well-grounded artist rather than just, you know, a technician that knows how to do a nice shape. And yeah, I can freehand a little bit, but I mean, like, I'm like confident now in my work. And I think being in a collective has helped me a lot, especially with the stuff that Amy was saying, that, you know, it's so important to be able to bounce ideas.
Mm-hmm. And I think it was good for you because we've talked about this before. I think you have a little social anxiety. You have anxiety. You deal with anxiety. Mm-hmm. And I think,
don't we all?
Yeah. and in different levels. In different ways. I know you have anxiety, Amy. Mm-hmm. You know, and I certainly deal with my episodes of anxiety, and you have anxiety. Yeah. I've never really had social anxiety. Like, I'm pretty comfortable being around people, you know, if I don't know them, or walking into a group of people. You are not. You deal with that, and I'm wondering if that's why. I'm wondering if being like a solo artist for 4 years, like, you know, contributed to that as well. But
it did definitely.
But so has it helped you with your anxiety on that level, being around? Because it's not just you're around like me, Amy, and Sophia. I mean, we've got all the apprentices.
Yeah, no,
so there's lots of
it's like a family of what, like 12, 13 people?
12, 13
including
of us.
The admin.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people in here. Yeah, because we got Sarah and Katrina and, you know, these two birds over here, you know, in the podcast room. You know, so there's a lot of personalities, you know.
I think with me, I have always been like a total rock star with my clients. Yeah. Because like anytime I've like ever done an appointment with somebody, usually like I kind of view it kind of like a video game. And that's how, just with how I've worked, and I've been able to kind of manage how nervous I do get, because you have to be on top of your A game. Yeah. And even if you're looking at that skin and you're like, I have no idea how this is going to turn out. You can't have any kind of like slither of, what am I trying to say? You can't let that client know that you feel that way at all, right? Mm-hmm. So I trained myself in that aspect, but then it took a lot longer for me to feel like confident around colleagues that do the same thing, right? And I think that all kind of just circled around like how I felt about my own work. Also, you know, which
was probably really good for you. I think it causes growth. Yeah, it causes growth. And I think as an artist, you always want to put yourself in situation that promotes growth, promotes versatility, promotes skill building. Yeah. Right. And for me, and it's just the way I'm wired, and I'm probably because the way I was raised, like my father, you know, I definitely push you guys to the edge of what you think you're capable of. Yeah. But that's my job. I think that's a mentor's job, is to push you guys to the edge of your capabilities. Mm-hmm. Or you stay safe. You stay safe, and you don't grow, you know. And I did that to my own self as a solo artist. And not everything went right, you know? Yeah. When I was learning camouflaging and scalp, all that stuff, I used to do it all for years and years and years. And I was a solo artist, you know, for 13 years, you know? I was in a salon. I had a room, and so I had to do that for my own self to get to where I'm at. And I love doing it with you guys. It's like, it's great. It's
like our own little community, like, and we get each other. Like even now, like if I don't feel good about something that I did, or if I get like healed results back, like I'm pretty hard on myself. But when I go home, like my dude and my kid, they don't get it.
They don't get it.
So then if I whine about it, they're like, whatever. But you guys have a little bit more compassion. Yeah, for me, like, you know, and you help kind of pick me back up.
Yeah, well, and we did that with your lips. You hit a roadblock with your lips, and you weren't feeling good, and you know, and just beating yourself up. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, hey, Kat, we need to go lay down, help out Amy.
Talk about no pressure.
Yeah, my wife, but she'd been bugging me to do her lips. So I'm like, and she was like, I would absolutely. So you and I did cat's lips together. Mm-hmm. And I could sit there and really concentrate on you working. And I saw a few things.
Right.
And we adjusted them.
It was like almost everything. I was doing it right, but it was just like my stretch wasn't tight enough. Like,
yes.
I wasn't doing enough shoveling, enough circling. My pressure was a little bit too light. It was like all these little...
There was a few little
factors.
Things. Yeah.
And then after we did that one... Now we've done these, or I've done other ones, and now I see them.
And look at today.
2 girls that are in the studio, so I get to see them.
Yes. And well, you did Willow's.
I'm like, that was like the confidence I needed. And Sarah's. Was something good.
Yeah. You know? And that's all it takes.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's all it takes. Yeah. You know, when you're not, you know, lip after lip after lip, no matter what procedure is, we're talking about lips, you're not happy with the results.
Yeah.
And then you get down and you feel defeated.
And then you're scared when it pops up on the book. I'm like, no, I hope it cancels.
Right. Oh, but if you're a solo artist, you might not ever get out of that headspace and do a lip again. But when you're in here, like, I'm not going to let you stay there. Right. Ren's not going to let you stay there. Right. Sophia's not. You're not going to let Sophia stay there or Ren stay there. Like we help each other out. Book a model. Book a model. Get a model. Let's tattoo them together.
Right.
Or I'll tell you, well, that's normal. It's fucking normal. And I think I told you it took me 6 years, 6 long, miserable years working out everything I was doing wrong with lips. Lips was the last procedure that came into me for me and that I mastered. Yep. Eyeliner was first, then brows, and I struggled with lips for 6 years, Amy. 6 years.
Wow.
I was not. Yes, I was not.
Lips are scary.
Lips are scary, and I wasn't that happy. It was inconsistent. I wasn't like messing anybody up, but it was inconsistent results, and I wasn't happy. 6 years, and you're at your 3-year mark, so. You've beat me by 3 years. You've arrived. I think you have a ways to go.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
you just did a challenging lip, a super challenging lip.
Right.
That would have made my pit sweat. Right. And you had to think very strategically. We mapped it out. We worked it out. We thought about it, and you executed it all by yourself. I wasn't even in your room when you did the tattooing, and we both just got to see her lips today. She was tickled pink. Yeah. You're smiling ear to ear. You were like, I could tell you were so fucking happy.
We were so nervous because she wanted like a mauve color, but she pulls those like purple colors. So I was like,
her lip was all
I told her like
from
hey,
her
we
last
can't
procedure.
Do that, and this is why. And I could tell that she didn't really feel confident, but she was kind of like, well, okay, I guess I'll just let you do your thing. Like, I trust you.
Well, because here's
but
you
I
and
could
I.
tell she didn't because we were back and forth.
And we're going, oh, yeah, see these dark purple spots? Oh, well, okay, well, that could show through and blah, we got to do this. I want you to do this, this, and this, Amy, and see that big old spot right there? Okay, that don't look good. We got to do. So that's the way we talk.
Yeah, so she was like,
so she's probably sitting there driving home like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
She might be thinking like, are my lips that bad?
Well, and they looked super pink when we finished, which she didn't really want. But now that they're healed, she was like, I love my lips. Look at them.
They are beautiful. You would never look at her lip today and think for 1 second that's what they looked.
What it looked like.
They had purple pigment had like all throughout.
Liner. Yeah. Like
No,
everywhere.
you rocked them. So I think you're well on your way to doing really, really good lips. So 2024, I'm really excited for you to level up on your lips and really start rocking those out now that your confidence is kind of back with those. I'll tell you what, I'm excited for you guys for 2024. I'm excited for you to ombre brows. I'd like to see you level up a little bit more and really get confident with those ombre brows.
I do want to do that as well.
And you see that cute little girl sitting right to the right of you?
Hey. So, hey, girl. Hey.
She's one of the best ombre brow artists I've ever seen. I mean, I swear to God. And Ren, I'm not just saying that, but because I knew you did good ombre. You design good, but to have it heal with as much pigment heals on one session, that kind of floored me. That really,
thank you.
Yeah, because a lot of times it's 2 or 3 sessions.
Yeah.
With artists that work the way you work, because you work the way the new generation of artists work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you whip shade a lot and pendulum a lot. You do like your smaller needles, but yet, and you do like that structured eyebrow, but yet your first heel There's hardly no time. I mean, look at Willow's. Look at brows.
Yeah.
And you nail it.
Thank you.
So, yeah. So I think that because your eyeliners rock.
Yeah, and I think a lot of like young girls are really into ombre, and I want to be a more diverse artist. I actually am gonna try practicing like hair strokes too. I know some girls come in and want combo brows, and I'm always like, nope.
Oh,
but I don't want to tell people no anymore, and I need to practice. That.
Yeah, it's good to do that.
Hair strokes are hard.
Yeah, and then Ren, 2024. You already know what I'm going to say.
Yeah, I am going to.
What am I going to say?
I'm going to be great at eyeliner.
Yes, you're going to rock out the eyeliner because of your look. I think you're going to attract and do a lot of wings.
Thanks.
And you like to wear wings.
Yeah,
you got this. What's her look, Willow? What's her look? Because you guys like the same music and the same stuff. You have a lot.
I change my hair like every 2 months.
Is she emo?
I wouldn't call it. No, I wouldn't say emo.
I'm emo if my hair was black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Okay.
Was I emo when my hair was black?
A little bit, yeah.
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 You got a black hair to be emo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But you got this look and this style, and you're young.
Yeah, like it's fun and funky.
It's fun and funky, and a little alternative, but not like over the edge alternative where
not
like you
weird.
scare people away. But I can see you doing like the wings and really rocking out wings and doing great eyeliner and attracting this whole new type of client to you. I do. And then and lips. And then getting on those lips.
I want to have more of an eyeliner portfolio. I want to pop my lipstick cherry. And then because I want to do like lipstick tattooing. I don't want to do blush. I want to do lipstick that heals really pretty. And I want to do nano strokes.
I gotcha.
So next year is going to be a big year.
Gotcha. All right. Okay. So what do you want from me? The two of you for 2024? Is there anything you want from me, Ren, for 2024?
Your time.
My time?
I don't know. I was not prepared for this one. I don't know.
How about more time off?
I mean, well, that's kind of out of your control. I mean, I would love to get out of. For me, I would love to get out of the spa so I could spend more time here.
Yeah.
So then I guess technically that would be your time as well.
Yeah. Well, let's make that happen in 2024.
Yeah, we're trying.
Yes, we are trying.
Yeah.
I know. Well, I'm excited. That's what I want for 2024 too. I want to get close. I want us to tighten up our group, get closer, and level up our skills. I want my own eyeliner to get better in 2024. You know. The day your own work, even at where I'm at all these years, every year you want to see improvement and get better and better and better. But I don't think that ever goes away. Just with time under your belt. So, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, that was really awesome. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Today was a good day.
Today was a good day. I know, the lips and everything. Yeah.
We had a good lunch.
Everything was great. All right, you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us today. We appreciate it. We hope you like this episode. And we want to wish every single one of you a happy and prosperous 2024. May, set your goals, write your goals down. Because if you don't write your goals down, then they're just a wish, kind of. So, they stay stuck in your head. So put words to your goals and write down your goals and prioritize them and make those goals become actual achievements for 2024, whether it's in the PMU space or your personal life. But on behalf of all of us here at Girlz Ink, we appreciate you and we wish you a very, very happy new year. We'll see you next year. Take care, everybody.